Hey guys, I'm Isaac, founder of Team4RUNNER and the Team4RUNNER Instagram page. You can also find our most recent build, most recent build, the Daily Driver Team4R Pro on Instagram. First vehicle I owned. It was a 1997 white limited Toyota 4Runner that I bought for $1,700. The seats were ripped to pieces from a dog from the previous owner, and fixed it all up, drove it for a year, and then sold it, moved on to something else. Probably when I was a kid, but we didn't call it overlanding then, But it'd be my dad and I driving to Colorado up in the mountains, four-wheeling for a weekend or sometimes an entire week. But the first overland trip, kind of when that became a thing, I was driving a third-gen 4Runner at the time. This was a few years ago. And I took a trip from Sioux Falls and went through Rapid City and the Black Hills and Salt Lake City and the mountains in Utah, and kind of wrapped through Colorado and went up into Moab with my 4Runner, and actually ended on the weekend that it was Easter Jeep Safari. So I was kind of the lone dog, the lone Toyota in all the Jeeps. So it's a memorable overland trip for my first one. So that was probably the moment, but probably before then. I kind of had 4Runners and Tacomas my whole life, old ones. Would kind of fix them up, sell them, kind of move on, kind of do that. And probably around that same time, 3-4 years ago, I realized, this is the real deal. I'd like to continue doing this the rest of my life, and actually make it into something, make it a big part of my life. So yeah, probably at 3-4 years ago period. So the answer kind of goes back, but because I drove a 4Runner, and it was kind of funny. It was kind of end of high school, beginning of college. This is several years ago now. But I would post pictures of my trucks on my own Instagram page, and my friends would be like, "Dude, you're posting pictures of your trucks nonstop." So I was like, "Okay, I'll start another page where I can just post pictures of my car," and that was Team4Runner, and it kind of evolved over time into what it is now. And it's evolved multiple times, but that was the biggest reason, just kind of the passion behind the Toyota brand and my trucks and 4Runner, and really wanting to do this after college. So yeah, it would be right when I got my 2016 4Runner, and I put a suspension lift on it, and put bigger tires, and was starting to outfit it, and took a trip to Colorado. This is probably 2 years ago. And I kind of heard of Timbren, axle-less suspension. I've heard from other stuff, and was like, I think it's time to probably upgrade these puny little bump stops that comes on these brand new $40,000 trucks. And so that's when I started doing some research and started, digging a little deeper into it, and finally got my first set of front and rear bump stops on my truck, and got home and threw the truck on the hoist, installed them, and ever since then, put them on everything. Growing up, I would pull trailers. I did like some lawn service in high school, so I had like a little utility trailer, and still have one. But of course, it's the old school axle. It's super loud and clanky, and it's just kind of a mess. The first time I pulled one was, again, probably about 2 years ago, and probably one of my first impressions was this thing handles well. Next impression was there's literally zero sound. Like, it's whisper quiet going down the interstate. And then obviously going off-road, it's a game changer. It just doesn't get hung up on anything. So, yeah, my first experience pulling it is that. Pretty much the first couple weeks was, getting it all installed and taking it up in the mountains, and like, this is legit. This is what everybody's saying it is. It's the real deal. So.